Wow, we really can't say that in English. I'm really impressed. Aujourd'hui, je vais analyser l'anglais d'une célébrité francophone, principalement connue pour m'avoir volé ma coupe de cheveux.
Récemment, je me suis coupé les cheveux très très courts.
Je vous parle, bien sûr, d'Angèle. On va voir comment elle se débrouille en anglais.
I'm sorry for my English.
Et à la fin, je lui donnerai une note sur 20. Bonjour à tous, moi c'est Gia, coach d'anglais avec 10 ans d'expérience internationale et francophone autodidacte. Je suis là pour vous aider à parler l'anglais de manière claire et naturelle. Comme d'habitude, activez les sous-titres si besoin parce qu'ici, pour apprendre l'anglais, on parle anglais. So let's get straight into it. And this first video I have actually says it's 5 years old. Let's have a look. Maybe we'll even be able to do a bit of an analysis and see whether she's improved over the past 5 years. Let's see.
So my name is Angèle. Angèle Van Laken is my real name. I'm a singer, I'm 23. I live in Brussels and I work in France and in Belgium. And it's been 1 year that my first album is out, and it was Brol.
Okay, so my first impression is that she has really good pronunciation. So I am under the impression that she is a native French speaker, but I really don't feel that kind of, not even strong French accent, even people who have a soft French accent, I don't even really feel that. I do know that she is Belgian, and now I'm wondering whether maybe she speaks Flemish or German?
Moi, je suis francophone, je suis pas complètement bilingue, mais je me débrouille.
I imagine growing up in Belgium that she was surrounded, regardless, by these sort of Germanic languages, Flemish and German. Maybe that has sort of helped her to internalize this nice, clear pronunciation. I have no idea. Of course, I did hear a couple of little mistakes here. I heard her say...
It's been 1 year that my first album is out.
Probably the most simple correction here would be it's been 1 year since my first album came out, but completely understandable. And I also heard her say...
And it was Brol.
I suppose I understand why she's saying this. The album came out in the past, but the album still exists and it is still called Brol. So in this case, it would be most natural to say it's Brol. The album is called Brol.
I first did piano from my 5 to 18, and then I did a jazz school.
Okay, so I can see she's really continuing to express herself really well. I think she's maybe a little bit hesitant. I can see her thinking about what she wants to say, but she really has such nice, clear pronunciation that it's very easy to follow her. You might have heard she was talking about her experience with music.
I first did piano.
We can definitely say that it can work, but here I think she's talking about learning. I learned piano, or I learned piano.
From my 5 to 18.
We really can't say that in English. We would need to say between the ages of 5 and 18.
I was doing Instagram videos and I was singing a lot of covers, but I was actually trying to make jokes and to laugh about it and not to take me too seriously.
Yeah, I can feel like, it really feels like the way that she is speaking feels natural, even though I can feel that she's hesitating a little bit. I did hear when she talked about posting on Instagram.
Not to take me too seriously.
In English, we don't have reflexive verbs, something like se doucher, se laver, but we have reflexive pronouns. So here, if I am the subject and the object, I would need to say, I try not to take myself too seriously.
C'est bien mon plat préféré. I like this question. Well, French fries, but in Belgium we know how to do French fries, and I don't know why this is called French fries.
Okay, a very strong message at the end there from Angèle. We can all maybe reflect on that. I agree. Well, I just call them chips, but anyway, I can see from this first video she speaks really, really well. You might have caught there that she did check and verify that she'd understood the question, right?
C'est bien mon plat préféré.
We can see at this point, I guess she's still double checking. Maybe her comprehension's not, super great, but a really nice first interview. Okay, let's move on. And this next video I have, I can see it's much newer. It is, 2 years old. So let's say 3 years later. So maybe we can see a bit of a progression.
When you fall in love, you surrender. Yeah, I'm intense. So I like to live intense stuff. So no, yeah. I got trouble with this because it was too intense and I couldn't, take the step back to just breathe and just think. Yeah. I needed to leave what I was going through, but it depends.
Wow, okay. I really feel like she progressed a lot, right? In, I guess this is 3 years. And of course, this is a different format. She's having a one-to-one conversation with somebody. And she seems so much more relaxed. I'm really impressed. But let's talk about a couple things that I heard. She talked about...
I like to live intense stuff.
I know in French we say quelque chose que j'ai vécu. Can't really say something I lived. We really use the verb to experience in this case. And I understand it doesn't feel very nice to say I experienced an experience. So no, we don't say that. She could say I like intense experiences. I think that's the best one. All right, let's keep going.
You think that it's important to look back? And to have perspective. Yeah, it's hard, though. I mean, it's an exercise, but I'm trying as much as I can because even if sometimes I don't like to look at me a few years ago because I feel like, oh my God, I was so bad dressed.
What are you talking about? Okay, another really nice flowing conversation here between Angèle and Rosalia. I really like here she talked about looking back into the past and saying...
It's an exercise.
The really nice expression to say like, it's a bit tedious, I kind of have to force myself to do it. I don't enjoy it. So I really like the way she used this expression. I did hear a little problem with these reflexive pronouns.
Sometimes I don't like to look at me.
Here we should say, I don't like to look at myself. Again, I am the subject and the object, so we use these reflexive pronouns. And she said,
oh my God, I was so bad dressed.
Here we want to use the adverb badly. I was so badly dressed. Something I think we can all relate to. Thank you, Angèle. All right, so let's look at one last clip of Angèle, another more recent clip, and then I will give you my final grade for her English.
Hello, my name is Angèle. I'm here with 17 and this is 17 questions.
Yeah, again, I feel like compared to the first clip we saw, she really feels much more comfortable, right? She's not hesitating as much as she became more and more famous. I'm sure she did a lot more media appearances. So yeah, fantastic.
I always eat pasta, really. When I don't know what to eat, I eat pasta. That's the best thing to do. If I'm really lazy, because I'm not a good cooker, I would say like with some cheese, like tomato or anything.
I heard a really classic mistake, guys. I'm actually really glad that she said this so that we can talk about it.
Because I'm not a good cooker.
A cooker is an object. It is a kitchen appliance. We have, for example, slow cookers, pressure cookers, my personal favorite,
rice cooker.
But most of us at home, for example, we would say, I'm a good cook or I'm not a good cook.
I wanted to make my own outfit and I wanted Chanel to help me, obviously, because who wouldn't? I just checked because my album is called 95, which is 95. And I checked what was the 95 collection and it's awesome.
Very good. I can see she's really relaxed as well, saying it's really awesome, right? Who wouldn't want Chanel to dress their show? Something really interesting I heard here is Angèle, she wanted to know about the 95 Chanel collection, yes? And she said,
I checked what was the 95 collection.
Here what she's done is she's used a question form. What was the 95 collection? But actually she's not asking a question. So because she's not asking a question, we don't need to use the question sentence structure with inversion. So here we wouldn't say, I checked what was the 95 collection. We would say, I checked what the 95 collection was.
Maybe doing clothes. I really love drawing and sewing. I was making my own clothes when I was younger, so I guess that would have been my other thing.
All right, here, guys, another word. I'm really glad Angèle brought this word up. This is such a difficult word for non-native English speakers. It is spelt S-E-W. It is pronounced sew. To sew. To make clothes. Pronounced in exactly the same way as S-O. To sew does exist. It is a verb which really means to take someone to court. And it's a word we often hear, especially in American shows, American dramas. People are always suing other people.
I'm suing. He's suing me.
I don't think that Angèle's dream was to be suing people all the time. Of course, in this context, it's very clear what she's talking about. But guys, this is such a tricky word, to sew.
Thank you so much for hanging with me. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry for my English. Et je vous dis au revoir. Et à bientôt.
Guys, at the end here, Angèle apologized for her English. I personally don't think she needs to apologize at all, and it's definitely something I would encourage you to not do, or maybe to stop doing. Sure, you can say, if you need clarification, please ask. I'll be happy to explain myself further. Let's stop this, guys. Let's stop apologizing for your English. All right, guys, so it's time for Angèle's grade. First of all, I think that Angèle has really nice pronunciation. It's really clear, even from the first video. I really have to remark on how much she improved. I really feel like she, especially just in how at ease she felt in the later videos compared to the first video that we saw. She definitely uses some natural expressions. She seems to be having fun and quite playful. So I'm really impressed by her English interviews. I would say at the beginning, I would give her about a B1 level. And that would be, I would say, about a grade of about 11.5 out of 20. But now, after seeing her later interviews, I really think she's definitely got a strong B2 level. I can see her discussing a much wider range of topics, work-related, her ideas, she's laughing, she's having fun. There are still some little mistakes there which have absolutely no impact on my ability to understand her. Given her very nice pronunciation, I have decided on a 15 out of 20 for Angèle. Keep in mind, guys, on my grading scale, that a 20 for me is not just a native English speaker. It is a very well-spoken native English speaker. So 15 out of 20, c'est pas mal. Let me know what you thought of Angèle's English interviews in the comments, and of my grade as well. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel. As always, if there is anybody else whose English you would like me to analyze, let me know in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye!